They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet. Gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen. In Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen is brought to you by the city of Stanford, Kentucky. Come back home to Stanford. L81 Bottling Company. Taste, love, and share the tradition. Woods Equipment Company has every tool you need to make working the land as rewarding as hunting it.
Hello and welcome to Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Hello, Mrs. Farmer.
Hello, Mr. Farmer.
It's warm out.
Yes, it is. Too warm.
You know what? We're in the shade today. We're up here. We got some nice big oak trees over top of us. A little bit of breeze going, so it's bearable.
That's right.
But it's almost too hot to turn anything on the oven.
I don't want to,
the stove.
I don't cook in the
I
house.
don't want to heat the house up. Don't you think that most people eat differently when it's hot out?
You eat lighter too, don't you?
I think
less
you do.
food.
You know, you get out in the summertime, you're working more, you're busy more. We've been fixing things the last couple of weeks, like Bill came over and did the watermelon salad.
I've made it every day.
Almost every day. But we got to be careful because we're going to get burnt out on it.
I like the bean. I like the bean dip too. We
dip,
made that a lot.
Kathy's caviar. We've been eating. That's the kind of stuff we crave. Tonight, I got some hickory going over here. I'm gonna let that hickory smoke roll up in there.
Keep the fire away from
and
us.
help the flavor. What have you been craving lately? There's two things you've been talking about lately.
Garlic, and you know I love mushrooms. I could eat them right out of that container.
I know, and I've been trying to
not
get you
eat
not
yours.
to do that because we have a recipe
Okay.
to do for our friends out there. Now, tonight I'm going to make you a chicken recipe.
Yum.
Just a slight overview of
Okay.
what we're going to do to give folks an idea. Now, this is something you can do outside. You can do it inside. You can bake it a little bit to finish it after you do the process in the pan. But look at the ingredients and see if you can kind of see where we're going here. We got mushrooms, we got chicken, white wine, chicken broth, some poultry flavoring, red pepper flakes, cream, butter. And do you remember this, what was it, a month or two ago?
Yeah.
When we were up here talking about just pouring some seeds out, easy peasy, nothing to it.
Look how good it looks.
We've already been using this, pulling off of it. That's just oregano and basil, probably two of the things that we use more than
Right.
anything. We're going to actually use some of that tonight. We planted this earlier. Again, you can have these sitting all over the place.
And it looks cute. It looks
And
cute.
it smells wonderful.
I like it.
So, it being summertime and a lot to do around the farm, we do have to maintain our sheep.
That's right.
Now, Katahdins are very simple sheep for the most part.
Yeah.
You just got to worm them and
They're hooves.
trim their hooves. Other than that, they're pretty simple. But the big moment has arrived. Guess who's coming?
Ooh.
Maybelle.
Oh, I can't wait to meet Maybelle.
No, but you know, before we did that, we have been using some movable fence. We're trying out some new fence, and it's pretty easy to install. So let's go down to the field in our preparation for Maybelle and Bo and put some fence up.
Okay.
All right, we're trying a new product. Movable fencing is absolutely essential where we are because we're going to change fields from time to time depending on who's doing what, a little bit of rotational grazing. Now, what I found about this product right off the bat, and I found out about this from Alvina Look at the amount of spacing in between these substantial posts and the metal on both ends. I really like what I see here.
This is stouter, nicer.
Yeah.
Way nicer.
Really like what I'm seeing so far. And again, we're just testing products as we go along. Now this is for a cow and a calf. They're finally on their way tomorrow. And they suggested, because of the nature of this cow and calf, they're fairly docile and they're trained to electric already. This will give them enough juice to keep them in. Now this is sheep and goat. Do you know that?
Really? Nice.
This is for sheep and goat, so it's a dual purpose if we need to use it for the other. Now I have a little power pack over there that I hung on the tree. I'm just gonna take a battery and attach to that. So far so good. I really like this.
I do
It's
too.
easy. It's not getting tangled up. About 500 degrees out. The pig pen, which is going to come in handy if we need to like get her in here, if we have to do some other stuff out here.
Move fence. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so we can put her in here, bring her some sweet feed in, let her get, let her and the calf come in here. So being that we have plenty of pig in the freezer, lots and lots of pig in the freezer,
Right.
this will be handy. What do you think about this fence?
I like it a lot better.
It's got posts that are closer together. It's very stout on the bottom. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
on the
very
metal?
sturdy, right.
And you can turn that metal. I'm digging it.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, we're almost done.
One left and cow comes tomorrow.
Cow and calf comes tomorrow.
Yay.
Let's get one more section in. Are you excited to have a cow?
I am excited.
And a calf?
That's going to be interesting.
It is.
Are you going to take care of these? Are these all yours?
Absolutely. You're going to help me a little
Am I
bit,
going to?
aren't
You're going to milk the cow though, right?
you? I'm not milking the cow.
Okay.
I think it's Mo's job.
Okay.
Tonight, again, very simple recipe. We love to bring things off the farm. I actually looked for some mushrooms in the woods.
Did you?
Didn't find any today. And I want to suggest, again, you've seen us eat morels. You've seen us with the big puffball. Look at the
Yeah.
puffballs we find in early fall. Delicious. Now, I'm going to tell you this disclaimer right here, right now. Know your mushrooms before you eat them. I'm not responsible for what goes in your mouth.
That's right.
I'm responsible for what goes in mine. So you have to be careful with that. But there are some actual mushrooms that come up. If we find them, we'll show you those on the show. That
They're
are
delicious.
in June, July.
Yeah.
Some different mushrooms that are around. I hope to find those. I didn't. So we got some baby bellas. But something I use in almost every recipe this time of year is honey. We love our honey.
Mm-hmm.
We've been very lucky.
Yes, we have.
Our second bees came into our empty hive. I actually suited up the other day with that.
I was proud of you. You did good.
with that Papa Bee dude,
Yeah.
and fed the bees, which is something that when it's the end of the blooming season, sometimes you have to give them a little reinforcement.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at me actually suiting up,
Wow.
taking care of the bees. We're very lucky.
Yes, we are.
According to Bee Dude, we have 2 boxes that were completely empty as of February. Don't know what
That's right.
happened. They just left. They turned the lights out. They shut the door. No trace, no bodies, no nothing. They just left. Wasn't very friendly,
That's
but
odd.
they did.
Mm-hmm.
Came back from Florida, and we had bees.
I like your outfit.
Thank you very much. Usually I don't do this, but at some point I got to start, getting brave.
All right. Can I get an outfit?
You can.
I
get
want
it.
to play with bees
You want
too.
this one?
No, you can do it today. I'll watch you.
You got the EpiPen ready just in case I get brutally attacked.
That's right.
All right, so what we're going to do, these are orders from Bee Dude. He can't always be here. He doesn't
Right.
have another job besides Bee Dude, believe it or not. So I'm going to take the top of this box off. I'm going to get a feeder, and then they didn't have the styrofoam ones in. He said these were better.
Okay.
So they have little floaters in them, and I'm going to pour some sugar water in
Okay.
there for them to help them establish and get going. We want this to happen. We want this to work. And as soon as they start laying and start doing good things, we'll put another box on top of that.
Okay.
But today, it's a very simple task. I'm going to put the feeder on. You got my back?
I do. I don't have to help though, right? I can step back.
You just swat them off on me while I run really
I will.
fast by.
Okay. I'll
right.
save you.
So here we go. The bees have been fed. Seems to be like a fairly non-aggressive bunch. There's a lot of bees in there. That's a good thing. Now they have plenty to eat. We'll leave that on there for a little bit. Put another box on it. And hopefully, if we have a productive summer, we can have some honey in the fall. Now we have, what, 13 sheep?
Yes, we do.
That's quite a few sheep. Now we have to determine what we're going to do. Now that we're up to this size, we're thinking about maybe keeping X amount for us to consume, and maybe selling a few more, but maybe maintaining that flock at a under 20.
Right, definitely.
Now we do have the space, and we are moving them around.
Right.
If we decide to maybe make that a little bigger operation, actually sell these to a processor.
Right.
That's a possibility. But so far they're working out really good. Now again, in order to take care of your sheep, very few things that you have to do. And there's some folks that really know their stuff around here. Let's bring in Kelly Yates, and she's going to talk to us about the basic maintenance of Katahdin sheep. Kelly Yates, tell us what you do.
No, I do promotion and education for the sheep and goat industry for Kentucky.
You know what? It's time for a little maintenance. Now we have Katahdins. They don't have to be sheared. Explain what a hair sheep is. It's kind of the opposite of what you might think.
Right. So you got two different types of sheep in Kentucky. So you got your wool breeds, which is the typical breeds that have been around since the 20s and 30s. And then we get the hair sheep that have moved in, and they've become popular for two different reasons. One is because they have the hair and you don't have to shear them, because getting a shear is harder and harder to do in Kentucky, and then finding a market for that wool is harder to do. And the second thing that comes in is that they are, like you said, pretty hardy sheep. Now, any small ruminants in Kentucky, I don't care what breed they have, you're going to have parasites and you're going to have foot issues. So those are the two things that you have to stay on top of. But the Katahdins are generally, they can handle a worm load better than some of the wool breeds can.
Now, we have, these are kitting panels. So basically we have a back, two sides, and a front. And you can keep adding things. It's all you do is put these pins in and get these together. Can you dig it?
I dig it. All day long.
Let's get it set up.
All right. So these are good. You see this size right here? Even though these are small, these lambs are never going to be able to get through here, even when they're babies.
You know,
and that's great.
That's some mistakes that we went through. We put cattle panels in here. Guess what?
Yeah, right underneath it.
So this is the perfect size.
That's the perfect size.
I mean, in a relatively short period of time, we got this thing set up. What took 3 minutes?
Maybe. Yep.
We got them in here. Now we can work them up.
Right. And they don't have a whole lot of room to move around, which is good, because you don't want them running and chasing because it's already getting hot. They're already panting.
Right. All right, let's talk about what a workup process is. What do we need to do today?
All right, so the thing you need to keep in mind for this year is that we had a very mild winter. So what does that mean for sheep and goats?
Parasites.
Parasites, okay? It never got cold enough for them to die or go dormant. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to check your sheep and your goats for worms. The most susceptible ones are the babies. Okay, because they're not old enough, they haven't gained any what's called refugia. Refugia is the population of worms in their gut that will still die when you worm them, and that's what you want to work up to. So you don't worm everybody all the time. You only worm the ones that really have to be wormed. The worms become resistant. They're super smart for single-celled animals, when they become resistant to that wormer, that means that you can never use that wormer again.
Oh, wow.
And there's only a very handful of wormers on the market. So when you get through all that, you're done.
So this is fomaja, which means basically it's a test to look at what?
Right. Parasites are going to attach to the inside of the gut, and they're essentially going to suck the blood. It's a parasite. So you can tell if your animal has a heavy parasite load based on how anemic they're going to be. So you're going to look at the inside eyelid, the under eyelid, to see how anemic they are. The more anemic, the more white they are, the wormier they are. So if it's really red, they're good to go. This is the second level. They're still good. Okay, they just got a little bit more worms than these do over here. This is when you get down to the 3. You see how it turns into a question mark? So check, you're good to go. 3 is when you have to start questioning what's going on. Now this 3, That's an okay level. You just don't ever want it to get down below this. So you'll see here the exclamation point is, whoa, you better back up. You got to fix this. And this one is when you for sure have got to worm, okay? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to check your moms first. If your moms are in this range or lower, I guarantee your babies are even worse because they're more susceptible. So this is what you do. You've got the Sidectin drench, 2.3 milliliters for every 25 pounds. Okay. I'm going to say they're roughly around 30 pounds. Okay, so you go to 30, you're getting 2.7. All right, so here's the difference between your lambing tube and your drench gun. Okay, they're both in milliliters, which is fine, but the key is this ball right here and this angle. So when you're doing the drench gun, you're going to pull this up inside your drench gun on what you want. This is going to go down on their throat. Okay, the ball is on there because their tongue and their teeth start wrapping around that. And if you're putting this in their throat and they're trying to swallow it, it's going to go exactly where it's supposed to go. This wormer needs to go directly in the rumen, you know, because they have a 4-compartment stomach. It needs to go in the rumen because that's where the parasites are. If you just haphazardly put this in there or try to use this one and they're not trying to swallow, it's not going to go in the rumen. It's not going to do any good. And you're getting about ready where you're going to have to do some hoof trimming, okay, because you're going to want this to be flat and flush. And you see how there's manure caked up in that toe right here? You're creating a pocket for foot rot to happen. So I'm going to do a little trimming, and I would check all these babies and see if they need to be wormed and worm accordingly. I don't think I'd worm the moms just yet.
So thank you, Kelly.
She's really knowledgeable on that stuff.
Now I think with that enclosure that we have now, we can bring them in there. It's up to us next time. We're going to get a little stool.
Right.
We're going to get our system going.
Well, I learned a lot from her. She told me a lot today.
She's
So
sharp.
she gave me paperwork, and so I think we got it.
Now next thing we have to do is tag the ears, and on the young males that aren't going to be breeding, well, there's certain parts and pieces they don't need. We won't talk about that too much. Sounds kind of painful to me. Now, let's back to the chicken. All right, here we go. What we're going to do, we're going to take this chicken. We got 4 breasts, and we're going to get them out fairly thin. Now, the great thing about this is a little salt and pepper, a little olive oil. Quick.
Can't go wrong,
It's quick. Now, I'm going to do something a little out of the ordinary tonight. I got my fire over here, and I've got my grate on top of it. And I'm just going to take that Lodge pan with the legs on it.
Okay.
And I'm just going to set it on top of there.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to brown these just long enough to get them mostly done and then set them aside. Then the same thing with mushrooms.
Okay.
Now, if you will, Nicki, just dump the mushrooms right on in there.
Right.
And these are just baby Bella mushrooms. I'm going to take those out and I'm going to set them right next to the chicken. Then we have some more fun stuff to do. All right, I stole some of your wine.
Why?
Because I need it.
Okay, you can.
So I got a 1/2 cup of, I think it's your Chardonnay.
Okay.
And a 1/2 cup of chicken broth.
Yum.
3 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
Because you want garlic. I'm going to put some red pepper flakes in there. What would you say that is? 3/4 of a tablespoon?
That looked about
Because
right.
we want
Right.
a little heat in there. Oh, I forgot one thing.
Okay.
Just a little bit of poultry seasoning in there.
That sounds good.
And I would say probably 1/3 of a tablespoon. I like that Paul Prudhomme. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take our onions and shallot. That's
Yum.
probably 1/3 of a small onion and a small shallot.
Yeah.
And we're going to take those, and we're just going to turn them over just a little bit. Then we're going to come back with your wine and your garlic and reduce that down just a hair.
Okay.
You see where I'm going?
It sounds really good.
Okay, let's take the butter. See how that's thickening up? See
Looks
what
good,
see
yeah.
what we're doing, Nicki. If you will, let's put the mushrooms in here. Heavy cream. See that, Nicki?
Looks good.
Now let's bring the chicken.
You just slide it in there?
Yep, slide that in there. Then we're going to take a little bit of coals and put on the top for about 6 minutes. Whew, it's hot.
Yes, it is hot.
It's worth the wait. It's almost
Yes, it
done. A
is.
few more minutes. What
Smells
else
good.
was worth the wait?
Getting our new cow.
What's her name?
Maybelle and Mo.
And Mo.
And Mo.
You know what? The day is finally arrived. And again, this is something we thought about very carefully. Did all the homework. Todd came over. Don came over. It's time.
You're learning a lot,
for
aren't you?
Maybelle.
Yay.
Todd Harn is back.
Back again.
Tartar Ranch. You know what? The day has arrived. She's right here behind us.
That's right.
You know, this is, again, and I don't know how many times I've said this, but this is not something to take lightly. This is a big animal. There was much thought and consideration put into this by me, and much, you know, Don Tarter came out. He's a cattle guy. You're a cattle guy. So, the small hobby farmer like me, I mean, wow, we've got everything right here. I'm even reutilizing my pig pen there. Tell me what you said we could do with a specific type of feeder back in there.
Well, you know, you've got a nice little 20 by 20 pen there. If we do need to get the cow up, or you have some reason to get her up, or need to confine her, you've got an excellent little spot there. But the little hog house that you've got there for the hogs, that I think was its original purpose, go in there and put a feeder in there so that calf could go in any time of the day and get that grain that we was talking about. Remember we talked about that?
He can get it, but she can't.
That's exactly
so
right.
You call it a creep feeder.
A creep feeder, yes. And so what that does, that lets that calf get more nutrients than just the grass and the milk, but it also keeps your feed bill down, but not by the cow not getting in there. Of course, you can always supplement her, and you said that she's going to get spoiled.
She's going to get spoiled.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
She will. Now, as you see, I talked to the Premier One people, and this is all stuff we're trying out for the show. And later on, you talked about the fact that we need to fertilize some. Well, I got my fertilizer here today. I didn't know Southern States did that, but they'll drop a buggy off at your house. That's a good thing. I hook up to my tractor and I go.
Yes.
We're just going to open this up. She's trained to, did you say 2 wires?
Yeah, well, actually 1 wire.
1 wire.
1 wire.
So she's got a lot of wires here.
Yeah. This will intimidate her. And like I said, anytime you're moving cattle, and I've been now on the road for an hour and a half at least, and I took my time getting up here, this is stressful to her. And so what we need to do is offer her as much of a stress-free rest of the day as we can.
So we got a small confined area, again, for the hobby farmer like myself. So all we're going to do, you've got the trailer expertly backed, I must say. You must have done that once before.
A time or two.
Like you said, some of us over here.
We'll just stand here to keep her from wanting to get up into the woods here.
And hopefully she'll see this grass and think, I might want some of that.
She'll funnel right on in there. So I don't think we'll have any problem at all.
It's the moment of truth.
All right.
She's coming off the trailer.
Let's unload her.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mrs. Farmer, there's your mushrooms, there's your garlic, there's your white wine.
Wow, that looks delicious.
I'm gonna let you try it first.
Okay. I need a little bit of everything.
Yes, you do. You like it? Mm-hmm. You taste the garlic? Taste the mushrooms?
Wow. That's really good. I can taste the garlic. The garlic is amazing in this. Delicious. With the noodles, it's really light too. This is a really nice light dish. I like it. And I love my mushrooms, thank you. Mushrooms are my favorite.
Red pepper, just enough?
Wow, it's nice and I love it.
I'll tell you what, this might be one of my favorite outdoor dishes we've done
How'd you come up with this?
You know what? You said mushrooms and garlic.
Yeah.
And we had some chicken laid out already. And I wanted some pasta. And
you're creative. So I can just start throwing stuff at you what I like?
This is a common recipe, like a garlic chicken with, very common recipe, but there's variations on this. But the white wine, I think, adds a whole lot.
And I like the pepper flakes. I can taste them.
Yeah.
That's really good.
You know what? Go ahead and enjoy that bite, and I'll tell people about our Facebook page.
Thank you.
Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen Facebook page. Like it. Tell your friends about it. We're getting friends from all over the world. Also, timfarmerscountrykitchen.com. We have hundreds and hundreds of shows and segments on there for you to look at. I tell you what, it was a busy day on the farm.
It's got a good aftertaste. That's delicious. You outdid yourself again.
So, you more excited about the food than the cows, the sheep?
Yeah, right now the food. I'll go see the cow later.
It's all about the food?
It's all about the food.
You know what it is all about.
Good times.
Good friends.
And wonderful eats. Good job.
We'll see you next week on Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen.
To order a cookbook or DVD of the show, please call 502-319-0487 or email timfarmerck@gmail.com. Special thanks to CKY, Canoe, Kentucky, Furniture World Superstore, Housewarmings, Lodge Cast Iron, Tater Knob Pottery and Farm. Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen is brought to you by Good Foods Co-op, Kentucky Sheep and Wool Producers Association, and the Kentucky Goat Producers Association, Marksbury Farm Market, Weisenberger Mill, Your Village Shop, Diamond Gusset Jeans, the original Gusset Jean, careful craftsmanship, continual improvement. Diamond Gusset Jeans, born and worn in the USA since 1987.